Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing well. The madmen at Christian Dior have finally done it. They have finally surpassed Chanel with Bleu de Chanel in coming out with the flanker first. So first there was Bleu de Chanel, Eau de Toilette, and then Sauvage, Eau de Toilette. Then an Eau de Parfum version of each with Bleu de Chanel being first, and then a Parfum version of each with, again, Chanel being first. But no. Now Christian Dior is first. And I'm not including the sprays, the very cool spray and all that stuff. That doesn't count. Christian Dior has just come out with Sauvage Elixir. And in this video, I'm going to unbox the fragrance, show you guys the presentation, and give you guys my first impressions, along with a giveaway. So let's jump into it. And if you want to see videos like this one early or just exclusive videos that won't be on the main channel, click that join button below and check out my memberships. There are 3 different tiers. There are a bunch of different perks on there. I'm going to do exclusive giveaways for the members as well, including full bottles of niche fragrances, designer fragrances, all kinds of good stuff. So check that out. And if you do, thanks. And everybody that's already joined, thank you. So this one I just bought from Dior's website a couple days ago. It was $155 for 2 ounces. Yeah. So this is fully into niche fragrance territory in terms of the pricing now. Basically, the way that Christian Dior is pitching this one is that it has the best natural ingredients, exquisite quality, and that it should be intense and deep and rich. And I'm hoping it is. Because at that price, if it isn't, hard out here for a G. I'm gonna go ahead and unbox it, show you guys the presentation, and we'll see it for the first time together. And if you buy this on Dior's website, you get some cool little perks like little miniature lipsticks. So that's super useful for me. I actually just gave them to my wife and she was really excited actually. So it worked out okay. If you've got a significant other, that's not the worst freebie to get. All right, here we have the box and it is a little classier than all the other Sauvage releases as far as the box goes. Where it says Sauvage Elixir and Dior here, it's inset a little bit into the box. So it has this nice kind of viewpoint when you look at it. It looks really nice. At the bottom, 60 mils, 2 fluid ounces, Christian Dior logo up at the top. Nothing on the sides, nothing on the back. On the bottom, all your information. So you've got your ingredients there. You have your badge code, which is 1C05, and your barcode. And this one's a little different. It doesn't have a flip top on the box. You actually lift it up like so. Sits inside a little cardboard cutout. And there she is, Sauvage Elixir. Probably looks close to black on camera, but if you hold it up to the light, it is blue and you can see through it. Again, on the front, name of the house, name of the fragrance, Christian Dior logo up at the top, magnetic cap, like always with Sauvage, and your badge code is on the bottom, etched into the bottle. And there is the little Christian Dior B on the inside of the cap. Presentation-wise, about what you'd expect. It's Sauvage, it looks like Sauvage. A couple little tweaks to set it apart from the other ones, and of course it comes in a smaller size. But that's because of the concentration. It's so concentrated you can't have a huge bottle. Wouldn't be able to hold the power. 3 good sprays. Atomizer is fantastic, like always. It's a very different Sauvage. Yeah, it off the top here doesn't really remind me of any of them. Actually, when I smelled it from afar, when I very first sprayed it on before I got a good whiff of it, it actually reminded me a little bit like some throwback fragrances of yesteryear with a modern twist, I guess we'd say. Not getting a whole bunch of the grapefruit. I know that's the citrus that they put in the top here. This one pretty much immediately is settling into warm spices and woods. If you dig your nose in there, you can start to pick up these little flourishes of sweet spices popping through the mix, like a bit of cardamom coming through, but it's blended together in such a way that nothing is really forcefully making itself known and, sticking out from the fray here. You get some lavender in here, you get a bit of cinnamon, the cardamom that I mentioned before, and woods immediately, but it's all coming together really well. Absolutely, without a doubt, the most mature of the Sauvage fragrances to date, the most grown up, the most sophisticated. And frankly, that's what I would expect for the price point and how they're pitching it. For the guys that are into Sauvage Eau de Toilette and also Eau de Parfum for being this loud, metallic, attention-grabbing, sweet, bergamot and peppery kind of fragrance with an overdose of ambroxan, especially if we're talking the Eau de Toilette, they might be let down by this because it is taking a different path. And the more that I'm smelling it right here, the more I'm liking it. Yeah, this is actually settling down really, really nicely, quickly too. When I first sprayed it on, it was strong, and it still does have an oomph, but it's not in a headache-inducing way, potentially, at least not for me. Yeah, there's this slight remembrance of fragrances from the 80s and the early 90s that comes through in the initial opening for me. I can't pinpoint a specific fragrance or anything. It just has this slight, ever so slight throwback feel, and it dissipates so quickly. But when I first smell it, it's got a bit of that for me. And I really like it, actually. There's a slight green tinge as well when it first hits my skin, but again, it dissipates quickly, settles into that spiciness, that warmth, that woodiness. There's a bit of sweetness here, but not a whole bunch, really. It's muted, the sweetness. Oh, yeah, but it is rich. Yeah. And when I say the sweetness is muted, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, there's just enough. You know, there's not enough that takes it over the edge to where it starts smelling bubble gummy or any crap like that. The main drawback here is going to be the price. $155 for a 60 ml size bottle. That is tough. Yeah, that's expensive. I don't care though. The more I smell this as it dries down on my hand, this is really good. Yeah, like the lavender just started to come out, and it is holy crap good for me. That's the best Dior Sauvage I've ever smelled. Yeah, not close. That is surprisingly like way better than I thought it was gonna be. The opening is not amazing. Like, it has that kind of throwback feel, and I appreciate that, and I like that, kind of nostalgic for me, but it's not amazing. It's not something where I smell that initial opening and I go, wow. But as this settles down and all these notes start to blossom and start to spring off my skin, and you can start to better pick out everything in the fragrance, it is killer. Just friggin' killer. Don't know what else to say. You've got cardamom, cinnamon, the lavender really blossoming, amber coming up underneath it, giving it warmth, giving it sweetness, sandalwood, giving a nice woody base that doesn't come across abrasive, very smooth, the whole thing smooth. This is great. And I know that so many people are going to crap on it because of the price, which is astronomically high for a designer. Absolutely. And because it's a Sauvage, yet another flanker, a blue fragrance, people are going to hate on it for that. It smells just mind-blowingly good. For what I expected, it exceeded it, and by far just crushed my expectations. We'll see how it dries down. Hopefully it can stay this good, because if it does, this is going to be one of the best releases of the year, designer fragrance wise, top 3. And just in the opening here and the first part of the mid, do I think Sauvage Elixir is redundant if you already have the Eau de Parfum or the Parfum or the Eau de Toilette or whatever? No, I don't. I think the lavender, especially in Sauvage Elixir, is so much better than what you're going to find in the Eau de Toilette or any of the other fragrances. The DNA of Sauvage is here, sure, underneath everything, but this is done at a higher level, and it doesn't really overlap in terms of the full scent profile all that much with the other releases. Yeah, it's the lavender, man. The lavender in this is good. I'm gonna let this dry down, then I'm gonna come back, let you guys know how it changed, and go over the giveaway, which is going to include a decant of Sauvage Elixir, as well as a little mini of Sauvage Parfum, and also a little carded sample of Sauvage Parfum. They sent this stuff along with that when I bought it, so I figured one of you might be able to get some use out of it. Stay right there, I'll be back in 2 seconds. I am back. I've let the fragrance dry down. Let's go over it. Lavender still is at the heart of the fragrance, along with that woodiness that I talked about before. And as this one dries down, the lavender does take on more and more of a kind of throwback vibe to it. I mentioned that before, but this is, you know, sort of like an 80s fragrance modernized. The lavender in here really does remind me a bit of fragrances from the 80s that had lavender heavily in them, and where lavender was the focal point of the scent. So it has that going on. It has more of a sweet profile initially in the opening and the first part of the mid. Like I said before, not too sweet, but it does have some sweetness there with the lavender. But as it dries, that kind of fades away. So then it becomes more about sandalwood, a little bit of amber, a touch of patchouli, all mixing in with that lavender and some of the residual spices from before. So what that means is that if you're a younger guy or you're somebody just looking for an absolute monstrous compliment puller, you know, a super versatile scent for a younger guy, this is not going to be the Sauvage for you. That is going to be the Eau de Toilette. That's going to be the Eau de Parfum. It's not going to be the Elixir. If you're the type of guy that thought Sauvage Parfum was too mature or too gentlemanly for you, then this is going to be even worse for you than that one was. This one is definitely the darkest of the bunch. This one is the most mature of the bunch. And as I mentioned before, it does have that throwback kind of feel to it that some people are not going to appreciate all that much. I myself love 80s fragrances, and so that little bit of influence that I find in here makes me like it even more. Now, I will say that through the mid, I liked it a little bit more than what I got in the dry down the first time that I wore it, and that's just because that little burst of sweetness that came up underneath the lavender, oh man, smelled so good. I'm not at all hating on the dry down, think it smells great as well, but that transition point from the opening to the mid, at least this first time that I've worn it, that is my favorite part of the scent. Now, performance, it's good. Now, I sprayed it on a few times on this hand, a few times on this hand, but as I've been moving around, I have caught waft after waft after waft of this stuff. It is projecting, it is lasting. I have no questions about the performance here. Can't tell you an exact number of hours or how long it projected or anything like that, but I can tell you it is strong. A little bit goes a long way. Now, as you can probably tell, the first impressions here are very positive. I think it smells fantastic, but it is definitely not the most versatile of the bunch. I'd say the Eau de Parfum is. So if you're looking for just a one and done Dior Sauvage, it's not this one. I'd say the EDP is probably most people's best bet, possibly the Eau de Toilette. Again, kind of depends on what you're after, you know. If you're looking for something that's a little bit louder, a little more in your face, a little more abrasive, the Eau de Toilette. If you want something a little bit more reined in, still a great performer, but not quite to the level of the Eau de Toilette, you know, something a little bit richer, slightly more mature, the Eau de Parfum. Again, we're just talking versatility there in terms of which Sauvage to get. Those two are the most. This one's the darkest, this one's the richest, this one's the most mature for sure, the most sophisticated, and also has that throwback feel to it that the other ones frankly don't. $155 for 2 ounces. That is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. So I think if possible, try it out first. But I know a lot of people out there are gonna blind buy it anyway. Let's go ahead and do that giveaway. So again, it's gonna be a little Sauvage Parfum mini. So let me pull that out of the box real quick. Yeah, look at this. Boop. Little itty bitty tiny Sauvage Parfum. I think it's 10 milliliters. Yeah, 10 milliliters inside there. And then also a little spray sample as well. And then I'll make you guys up a decant of this, and considering how much this costs, that's worth a decent amount, I guess. So here's what you gotta do. You have to like the video, you have to be subscribed to the channel, so if you aren't, you have to subscribe, and you have to leave me a comment below and tell me what your favorite Dior Sauvage is. That's all you gotta do. The winner in about a week and a half or so, then I'll post it up on the community tab of my YouTube channel, so if you're subscribed, you should see that. And if you're the winner, get in touch with me, give me your address, and I'll ship this stuff out to you. you can get yourself a little miniature Sauvage package. Yay. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there. And to all the beast mode gents out there, thank you for supporting the channel. These guys right here. Chef's kiss, double chef's kiss. I'll see you guys tomorrow.